Welcome to a digital resting place. These are some thoughts that help me make sense of the world. Today I wanted to just share from the heart, create a little pocket of peace in my world and yours. And you asked me some questions on Instagram, so I'll have different categories in the timeline below, but let's just get into it. A question that I've been getting asked a lot is, what is my belief system? Do I believe in God? I've been using the word God more. I feel like sometimes I use the word spirit, and I've been using the word God more because I've been reading more texts from Paramahamsa Yogananda, who I would say is one of my teachers or gurus. And I love reading Yogananda's texts because they are directly from him. I feel like it's kind of hard to find spiritual texts that are from teacher to student, without translations. Yogananda addresses God and believes that anyone who has reached a state of self-realization is acting in God consciousness. I believe in the Noble Eightfold Path, which is a Buddhist philosophy, and I also believe in the science of self-realization, the science of yoga, practice both Hinduism and Buddhism. I don't feel like I have a spiritual channel. I don't feel like I'm trying to portray a version of New Age spirituality at all, but I know I've been put in that category because of some of the woo-woo things I've said or the practices that I do, but it is so deeply personal and so deeply intimate and extremely important to me that I walk home to God, that I return to spirit every single day in some way. And to me, all of these practices are leading me to the ultimate truth of what is unchanging, which is that I'm just the witness here on this earth, no different than any other human around me, that our essence is exactly the same, and to move from that place of oneness and complete compassion, complete and total love. That is my highest desire, to step away from my own judgmental mind, from my own ego, from my own fear, attachment, aversion, and operate from a place of fully realized love, which is, a completely fearless state, which is a completely knowing state where all I would be doing at that point is being of service to humanity. And I believe that every natural thing is the essence of God. Everything in nature, every perfect system and cycle in nature is without flaw. It's perfect math, geometry, science working together in a completely sustainable way. And I believe that that is spirit. And I believe that anytime we're working with nature, we are working with God. How do I connect with God or spirit on the daily? I simply return myself to the witness. I try to detach myself from everything that's not true. And in yoga, anything that isn't real is what changes. My name, my body, my age, my house, my friends. I try to disengage from that and remember the ultimate truth, which is that I'm a being of love. I'm here for an unknowable reason with a high capacity to do good on this earth. And everything within me is some naturally bestowed personality or karma that I'm here to witness and learn from. That can just look like walking in nature and having the intention of clearing my mind, or doing a meditation practice. And I absolutely love prayer. I've talked about this a lot, but it makes me feel so close to my blessings. It makes me feel so honest, and it makes me feel so humbled for this life. Having any form of gratitude is going to raise your vibrational state. It's going to make you feel better, especially if you struggle with depression or sadness. Taking account of even the tiniest things that are going decently in your day will make you feel better. It feels like I'm reverently talking to an elder who has given me so much. I'm just like, I see all the things that you're aligning in my life. I see the perfect harmony all around me. I see the access I have to tap into that harmony if I choose. And I ask for the courage and strength to do that. I ask for reminders throughout my day of what I'm trying to create in this life. I ask for support. I'm open to healing. I'm open to anyone who is going to keep me on track and keep me close to you. Please bring me friends that are filled with a desire to know you, God. Things like that. Pray for the protection of everyone that I know and love, the people that I might have grievances with, and then also people that I don't know who are suffering all over the world. And it really creates a single inspiration of hope, which is enough of a driving force to maybe go do something about some of the issues in the world, or maybe reach out to my people and like tell them that I love them. But I think that's what's so powerful about prayer is you're actually just manifesting and you're dream casting and you're thinking of what the highest healing would look like on this earth. It inspires you to be part of that and also to just have trust that things will get better in the future. And I love this one Paramahamsa Yogananda quote that's like, if you're making a spiritual effort now, everything in the future will improve. And I really feel that like just daily efforts of love are going to set you free over time. It's inevitable. Meditation recommendations for beginners. I'm actually going to link down below a Spotify playlist with a bunch of different talks and guided meditations that are super accessible, super beginner friendly. They have music and they're from Ram Dass and Alan Watts mainly. Also just any breath awareness. If you are at work and you can't listen to a meditation, just sit there and give yourself a single pointed focus. I'll simply say to inhale for 4 counts and exhale for 8 counts to activate the parasympathetic nervous system and calm yourself down. And the first time I saw a therapist, I almost instantly bawled my eyes out just from having someone be there for me with complete compassion. And I didn't even know so much was living inside of me at the time, but within months I was able to unpack a lot of things and feel so much lighter. And I was shocked by how dramatic this was, but you don't need to have a clinical mental health issue like anxiety or depression to benefit from therapy. BetterHelp is the sponsor of this video, and they're on a mission to make starting therapy easier. Fill out a questionnaire and you will match with a therapist in as little as a couple of days. One of the best features of BetterHelp is that if the first therapist doesn't feel like the right fit, you can easily switch to another one until you find someone you really connect with. There's even a journal inside the platform for personal reflection, and there are group sessions on a number of different topics available every day. If you're struggling and think you'd benefit from a therapy session, click the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/hitomi and get 10% off your first month of therapy to see if it helps you. Next question. Everyone always talks about forgiveness, but no one tells you exactly how to do it. So I'm just going to quickly go through my steps because I feel like I am so good at forgiving and unconditionally loving at this point in my life, and it just feels like the ultimate liberation and makes so much objective sense to do. I will channel it into something, whether that's talking to someone on the phone about it or writing about it or running or screaming. I channel that feeling and I allow myself to feel like, oh, I actually was immensely hurt by some person, or that actually wasn't okay that that happened. Next, I decide whether or not I need to either set a boundary or I need to completely remove myself from the situation that has hurt me. And what I think is so amazing about people who hurt us that aren't our family is that we can disengage completely. Next, I think about the fact that they are an innocent child who has received their own unique programming and conditioning, and all of the information of their life has led them to hurt me in the ways that they did. And some of that is out of their control. Obviously, the way that we act, we can take accountability for, but the specific program and paradigm that they're acting from, the values that they have, is something that they picked up along the unpredictable journey of their life. So let me just logically understand that it probably wasn't personal. And if it was, I'm definitely gonna exit out of their life, but it most likely wasn't personal. And I can begin to have a little bit more compassion for the program that they're working through, that they think their behavior is okay, even though I found it deeply offensive. Last thing, I'm gonna set that boundary. I'm going to completely step away from their life. I'm going to tell them to never do this to me again. And if they do it to me again, then I will disengage from their life. And if you are choosing to forgive and move forward with a relationship, knowing deep, deep in the cells of your being that everyone has darkness and light, that everyone has been on one end of the cycle at a certain point, the wronger and the wronged, and we all get to teach each other these lessons. I do believe that maybe in the space between death and life, we asked to learn certain things. We formed certain karmic contracts for people to teach us things. And when we forgive, we can also be asking very curiously what the information was here, what the takeaway was here. And it can be something like, this person was meant to teach me more patience, this person was meant to teach me how to be less materialistic, or this person was meant to teach me how to state my boundaries. And I wrote down, negativity and disharmony exist in the world as a form of unevolved consciousness, people not acting out of love to inspire you to restore a loving balance to the world. Suffering will always be grace if you choose it. So try not to get lost in the polarization, that you don't see the process in it, that you don't see it as a movement, as a dance, as a becoming, as a pathway. Obviously, these are like petty things to be forgiven, not actual violence and stuff like that. Although, when I was younger and I was getting abused, I knew so clearly that it was a lack of love. I just inherently knew that no one would do that unless they were deeply, deeply hurting or were extremely confused. And I honestly wasn't angry at anyone who hurt me. I was upset that they didn't get the love that they needed. And I knew it wasn't my journey to be the love that they needed, but I understood that it was so tragic what had happened on both ends, to me and the person hurting me. I think that's something that a lot of people might disagree with me on, but it does feel tragic to be so emotionally stunted that you can only process your feelings by punching things and breaking things and hurting people. That is tragic, and I would hate to live like that. I got a lot of questions about sexuality. Talk about your queer experience by erasure. I am gay. I'm a bisexual woman. I used to have a lot of internalized homophobia that I worked through as I started owning my desire and allowing my pleasure to come, and also hooking up with friends because it felt so safe and shameless and wonderful, and especially spending time in queer community and not hooking up with girls who are actually just straight and just wanted to like do something for the male gaze or have a cute fun night with me, but hooking up with experienced gays made me feel so confident, comfortable, and safe. And I feel like I don't have any more internalized homophobia. I have internalized like heterophobia at this point, where I think I'm scared at the mere idea of ending up with a man at this point. And I don't mean that in an offensive way. I just don't know if I could fully be all of myself and access the parts of me that I access when I'm with a woman, with a man. It just wouldn't happen. It's a completely different internal experience for me, because some part of me will always be performing with men in some subtle way, and also with women I haven't had any intense negative experiences, so I have way less trauma there, and I just feel inherently more safe. But I will say that dysfunction can exist in any form of relationship, and my idea of a relationship is two whole people coming together for the shared goal of evolving through love, objectively seeing like what both of your baselines are, what both of you are excited about, what your dreams are. Do they align? Are we growing in the same direction? The most sustainable form of love is the love for a shared dream, or the love for God, or the love to set yourself free. It's so wonderful to consciously create with your partner. And I think that's the beautiful part, is that you're consciously creating the structure that you want to live in. And someone asked me what my version of betrayal is in a relationship, and it's my partner not revealing themselves to me, not unmasking themselves fully, whether that's their desires or their resentments. Any information that feels like it's weighing on you, I want to know that. And so when that's not communicated, that feels painful. I don't really feel betrayed by anything other than people pretending to be what they think that I want. I just want you to be yourself, and like that's the most fertile place to begin. How do you meet women? Have you ever been with a straight girl? I meet women by going to places where I know queer folks are at, whether that's like a whole pride festival, or like a gay bar, or a Mitski concert, or I feel like there are so many queer spiritual femme people in the world, like going to yoga, meditation classes, little events, meetups, bookstores, talks from some of my favorite queer authors, finding your queer idols on social media, and even like seeing who follows them, if there's any mutuals, if you live in the same area, or if your queer idols are doing a talk or something. Like, queer idols will create a queer collective around them. I like to imagine that everyone is shy gay and they just need someone to go up and approach them, because otherwise they will never do it, because that has historically been me. How to move away from a toxic man when he is all the family that you have. So my first relationship when I was younger was 4 years long, and it was extremely toxic and codependent, and I fully relied on him. His family was my family. I lived at his house at certain points, and his sister was like my sister. I loved them so much, and every time we broke up, it felt like I was losing that whole family, and it was so hard to leave. But ever since then, I have made it my mission to create a stable environment that does not revolve around a man or a man's love or a man's anything. I have created a stable environment of women who I trust and know deeply, and also a financial stability that does not, require any sort of romance. And so I highly recommend beginning to find anchors of love outside of the relationship. Even just one single friend that you know and trust will completely empower you, diversifying all of your various sources of love. Every single person I know has been in some form of toxic relationship, and it's nice to even introduce the stage of life that you're in and just say, like, this is where I'm at right now. I'm not my fully optimized self, but I really want to make friends and just create a new world of love around me. That's really what you're doing. You're creating a new world of love. You're creating new belief systems through these people. Eventually, once you have some solid, steady ground, it'll feel a lot easier to exit a relationship that feels so toxic and so draining. How to show up authentically in settings of people who see life differently. I would just see it as an exciting opportunity to see how far your embodiment takes you, whatever you believe, like how inclusive is your version of love or spirituality or your belief system, and regularly resourcing yourself. Keeping your own nervous system calm, cool, and collected will help you to navigate any space with more presence. But absolutely, for me, when I am going home, I know I have to do extra to keep myself feeling confident and knowing. And I have a plan every single time. I pretend that I'm going to like a mental asylum, which I've been to before, and I give myself a schedule to be mentally well, which is going outside every day and doing some form of exercise, which is eating really well, doing some form of art therapy, and calling a friend like every other day that speaks the same language as me, maybe a gay person in my family of straights. What helped you most with your mental health in dealing with anxiety and stress? My favorite nervous system practices. Now, just like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, where I completely disengage so that I can connect with God or the truth of my being, which, I already explained all that. But I feel like this immensely helps with my anxiety and stress, because ultimately it's extremely empowering to know that I am here to make mistakes. I am here to grow and learn. I am here feeling exactly how so many other human beings are feeling. So I basically had no friends. I had one friend who was extremely cognizant of my mental health and didn't make me feel bad when I canceled plans because of anxiety. I cooked all my own food and I ate really, really well during this time. I slowly started to invite joy and feelings of sensuality and wholeness into my body by dancing and moving, saying mantra, saying affirmations every single morning. So I felt like I was hitting multiple different points, and that is a really good technique if you're in a really big period of struggle, of depression, is to any way that you can infiltrate your life and your consciousness and your body with love, do it. The food, the music, the people you're hanging out with, and then also doing some mantra. I love Beautiful Chorus on Spotify. They have beautiful mantras, but these are really simple things that help me to regulate my nervous system. And a mantra in Sanskrit translates to mind tool. So it's literally a thing to start rewiring your brain with. And every time your brain wants to go into doubt, fear, negativity, it's like, I am a being of love. It's like getting lyrics stuck in your head and you just subconsciously continue returning to them. Sometimes we have negative mantras in our head. Like my ex used to always say, I don't know what's wrong with me, or what's wrong with me. And he would say this to himself with such disdain. And I would always tell him like, hey, what's right with you? Let's ask what's right with you instead. And eventually he reprogrammed that. A simple and impactful thing that you can do for your mind. Instead of, God, why is life like this? You can be like, can it get any better than this? Can it get any better than this? Let's call upon the miracle. My sister listens to affirmations in the car. Those don't work for me because they're like, I am beautiful, I am whole, I am worthy. And I don't feel that because those are just words being spoken at me. What I really resonate with is like singing it or dancing it and feeling joy in my body at the same time as saying the affirmation. Feeling a single moment of joy, maybe you dance, maybe you shake, and then being like, yes, I am worthy. Yes, I am creating what I believe. And it doesn't have to be so, gaslighty of like, my life is perfect. I am well when you're literally sick. It can be like, I am unwell and I am open to healing. I feel like shit right now and I'm open to feeling different. That's the key, is you're open to being changed. You see the hope at the end. If you're very sensitive and you're always getting anxiety, it really is your nervous system just needing to be soothed in some way. So anytime you feel that inner turmoil, rather than judging it and shaming it, just being like, ooh, I feel you, body. I'm gonna take a step back from this social setting and I'm gonna really breathe, and I'm gonna breathe in for 4 counts and breathe out for 8 counts, and I am going to tell my body it's okay. That is honestly the prompt. That is what coping is just letting my body and my nervous system know it's okay. I'm not in danger. Even just lighting incense in the morning, having some form of stability will help you to feel less out of control and untethered. Staying disciplined and procrastinating less. I'm gonna pair this with how to decrease phone use and overcome scrolling addiction. So I listened to this podcast. It was by the author of, I actually forget the name of the book. I'm gonna put it here. Discipline isn't about suffering, it's about learning to be okay with boredom, because discipline is very boring and it's cutting yourself off from constant dopamine and instant gratification. Discipline is a long game. You have to get yourself out of the addiction to the bad thing and make yourself addicted to the good thing. My revised form of discipline is witnessing love every single day and acting out of it, because pretty much everything that I want to do that's disciplined is good for me. So how can I love myself enough to make that choice? Like when I do want to doom scroll through TikTok, or anytime I'm honestly doing anything that isn't good for me, that is instant gratification, it's me coping from something in an unhealthy way. That's my real experience. How can I just remember love every day? Also, keeping yourself busy enough so that you're not scrolling through your phone all the time. I feel like I am completely off my phone when I'm with my friends, but if I have days and days alone, I will sometimes get caught up in some high phone usage because I have no plan. So on your days off, set yourself up for success and have some activities, have some prompts. And you could also have phone-free friend hangouts, and you could also turn your data off and your Wi-Fi off 1 day a week on Sundays. Asking yourself what you're running from when you do feel that phone addiction coming on. It's like, what am I avoiding in my life? What is hard for me right now? My mic died, so I'll be finishing off this video with my phone. And the last question I'm gonna answer is, does healing exist or just adequate coping? And I wanna say, healing absolutely exists. I feel like a spokesperson for this because I have wanted to die for so much of my life, and I have tried to more times than I can count on my fingertips, and yet I'm in a world that I want to be in, and I am happy to be existing in my mind and body today. Even though I still struggle, I am happy. And I am so proud of that joy. Coping is what gets you through the really intense stages of not wanting to be here, but eventually you are basically reprogramming your mind. You are rewriting neural pathways. I felt like every, even minor inconvenience at a certain point made me want to die, and I took it in as evidence that I was a worthless human being that shouldn't be here. I was so prepared to give up on everything. I was so prepared to hate myself that everything became evidence of why I should do it. And now everything is evidence of why I deserve to be here. And our capacity to heal is endless. Our capacity to learn is endless. Honestly, if you need some inspiration, watch those videos of traumatized animals or dogs and see how they learn to trust their new owners. It is so beautiful, and really to me exemplifies what we're also capable of. Our wounds are so much more covert. It is hard to heal. It is hard to feel like you really have to try, and not everyone has to try as hard to even want to be here on this earth, but it is so worth it. And honestly, find other people who are struggling with mental health and understand it, other people who are just as sensitive as you, because it will feel incredibly safe for your heart. That's something that means a lot to me, because not everyone will understand that, like, I went to a party and then I felt like I kind of wanted to die after. But people who have struggled with mental health will get it, and healing is possible. Whether you even believe it or not, keep showing up for love, keep acting out of love, and eventually your mind will catch up. And have compassion for the ways that your body is trying to keep you safe and protect you. I'm really proud of you for choosing to get up every day and do literally anything with your thought, with your breath, with your body. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope that this was riveting in some ways. Please let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll see you in a video soon, I hope. I honestly love filming these. I am gonna start a podcast. That is going to be my new year, new transitional thing, because honestly, you see me right now with this little dress on. I feel like there is some level of performance that comes with posting online and recording myself. Like, I do feel in some ways that I need to amp up my conventional attractivity so people actually care about what I'm saying, when in real life I'm actually a gremlin, and it always feels like I'm performing beauty because I don't perceive myself in that way, but it makes the videos do better, so thus here I am. But I'm really excited because I think a podcast is where I will thrive. It will just be my voice in the void. Maybe I'll do video on there. But yeah, I'm excited for that, and thank you for tuning into this, and I hope that you take care of yourself today. I'll see you in a video soon. Bye!